What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Trevin Peterson. I'm a full-time seven-figure Amazon seller. And in today's video, we're gonna be breaking down the changes that Amazon has made in 2020 and how that affects us as sellers and new sellers. So there's been a lot of things happening with this whole coronavirus pandemic, and I wanna break down kind of some of the consequences, some of the good things that are happening, some of the bad things, and just help you guys be aware with what's going on and what you should be doing right now to basically set yourself up for success. So before we dive into the video, I want to dive into my seller account, show you guys that I'm a current FBA seller. And then what I teach is what I implement in my own FBA business. So as you guys can see, for the day, I've done just over $1,000. And in the last 30 days, I've done just over $100,000 in sales. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to go hit the subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment for the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate the support. And without further ado, let's dive into the video. Okay, so let's dive into the video and let's break down some of the changes that Amazon has made and how it's going to affect our Amazon business, whether we are a new seller or an experienced Amazon seller. So let's dive into my screen. And this whole video topic was kind of inspired by this YouTube comment. I really appreciated this. They asked a lot of good questions. So what I did is I copied and pasted it into a Word document. And we're just gonna go through and answer all of these questions and break down my thoughts for starting an Amazon FBA business post COVID-19. Has Amazon's rules changed since then? Are they stricter? What are the consequences of this? What is the difference between my course and others? So I want to answer all of these great questions, and it's going to basically help you kind of know, okay, where do I need to go next? Like, what is that next step? And there's some important things that you guys need to be aware of. So the first thing is, what are my thoughts for newbies starting FBA in August post COVID-19? So the first thing is, right now, some of my most successful students have launched during this pandemic, and they've basically jumped on and they saw the opportunity and they seized it. They didn't wait around and they weren't concerned of what was happening. They weren't like, oh, this is kind of scary, what's going to happen? They didn't care about that. They were just like, okay, Amazon is the real deal. Amazon has seen an increased demand, so I'm going to take advantage of that right now. And still, we're still kind of during this whole coronavirus pandemic. It's not as bad as it was, but I think that we're going to see this for the next 9 months, year, 2 years. Like, I don't think it's ever going to go back to normal. And that is kind of a good thing for us Amazon sellers. Now, I don't wish coronavirus upon anyone. I think it sucks. It's a crappy situation, but for us Amazon sellers, it's good because a lot of people want to shop online instead of going to the store. So instead of going to the store, what are they doing? They're sitting at home and they're dinking around on Amazon searching products, whether it's essential goods that they need or just random products because they're bored at home and they're like, oh, I want to buy this, or oh, I need to go on a camping trip, or oh, I need this for my dog. I don't want to go to the pet store, or whatever the case is. They just like the convenience of shopping online. So with that being said, that's a huge benefit for Amazon sellers, whether you're new or experienced, or you've been selling. That's really good for us because there's more demand, and the more demand, the more products we can sell and the more money we're going to make. So that's a really good thing that has happened from this coronavirus, is there's been an increased spike. And one of the things, another question was, what is starting in August 2020 like compared to when you first started? Relate this to real statistics. So when I first started, there was great demand, but now the demand is even better. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys some statistics in an article that I found. Right here, it says for the 3 months ended in March, Amazon brought in $75.4 billion in revenue, a 26% gain over 2019. So a 20% gain in the first quarter. I mean, that's insane. That's huge. And that just shows you the demand has increased and more people are shopping online and buying random things and essential goods. So it's kind of cool to see the increased demand. And when I first started, I mean, the opportunity was great, but now I think it's just as good, if not better. But there are a few things like right here, how has Amazon's rules changed since then? Are they stricter? What are the consequences of this? This is where it's been the biggest change, and I'm going to touch on all of those things. So a few days ago, we got an email talking about inventory performance index. I'm going to probably mess up that phrase, the IPI threshold changed to 500. So basically what that means is if you don't have your IPI above 500, you're going to have a storage limit. So this is going to affect newer sellers that don't really have sales history, because if you don't have sales history, you don't really have an IPI index score. So that's going to affect you where you can't send in all of your inventory all at once to Amazon. You're going to have to trickle it in. So there's a few things that you can do to get around this. Number one, you can send it to your house. And then when the time comes, you can send in 200. And then when you start running out of stock, you can send in another 200. If you don't have that basically convenience of being able to ship it to your home, what you can do is work out with your supplier. You can order 1,000 units and say, hey, I can only send in 200 at a time. Can you send in 200? And then when I'm ready, can you send in another 200? And basically have your supplier store your inventory. So those are two ways around this. And to kind of talk about what this is and how we can improve it, because I know a lot of people are asking that question. What I did is I went to storage limits. I searched this on Amazon Seller Central. It talks about FBA storage limits. It talks about literally the entire email that you just got. So read through that. It breaks everything down really, really well. But right here, if we go click on the inventory performance dashboard, this is where we're going to get all the information that we need on how we can improve it and how we can get above that 500 IPI score. So right here it says there's top influencing factors: excess inventory, sell-through rate, stranded inventory, in-stock inventory. So those are things that we need to really make sure that we're doing. I mean, if our sell-through rate is really, really bad, now is the time to create a removal order, because it's free. Amazon is basically saying, hey, we're going to basically send you back your inventory, and that is something that you can get a lot better and do the sell-through rate. The same thing with excess inventory. If you have excess inventory, you want to basically create a removal order right now, get that sent back to your house or dispose of it so that your IPI score increases. The next thing is stranded inventory. That's super easy. Right here it says stranded inventory percentage, 100%. So fix listings to make your FBA inventory available for purchase. So fixed listings, if you have listings that are stranded, it'll give you, okay, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, and it will show you what you need to do to improve that score. And then obviously FBA in stock rate. If there's any products that you need to restock today, it's going to tell you. And those are the things that you need to be looking at. So that's very important. That is a change that Amazon has made. It's nothing to be scared of. You just need to be aware of it and know what to look at. So that's how you're going to do it. You can look up storage limits, go to your inventory performance dashboard, and it's going to break down all of that information. So that is a change that Amazon has made. It can be basic. I mean, it's for the good, because Amazon's trying to keep up with the demand. They're trying to deliver the 1 to 2 day delivery. And if they just have everyone sending in inventory, that's why there's long check-in times. This is just trying to eliminate that so that they're more efficient. So that is a change that Amazon has made. Another thing is, are they stricter? There are certain things that, yes, they are stricter about, because there has been a lot of fraud. There's been a lot of crap going on Amazon, and they're basically weeding that out. And I love that about the changes that they've made. It's good for us sellers that are treating this as a business. We're not just trying to scam people. We're not trying to make a quick buck. We're trying to build a legitimate business. And if you have that mindset, then the rules that Amazon has changed are for the good. They're for the good. So for example, something that they've changed is, you've probably heard of the error code 5665. When you go to create a listing, it says that you need to be brand registered, yada, yada, yada. All that, you don't technically need to be brand registered. There's just more steps. You need to make sure that you have your logo on the product, you have branded packaging. You need to make sure that you are basically building a brand. You can't just sell any random product and just be like, oh no, this is my brand, I own it. No, you have to actually build the brand. You don't have to have a trademark. And then you have to create the case, and you have to get special approval to create that listing, where before you didn't have to do that. So that could be something that is bad news for us new sellers, but at the same time, it goes back to weeding out the crap sellers that are doing shady and scammy things. So it's just one extra step that we have to go through to get our listing up and running. And in my eyes, that's good because it's weeding out all the junk sellers. So there are just some things, there's changes that have been made that just require us to put in a little bit more work, which in the long run is really good if you're willing to put in the work yourself. If you think you're just gonna take all the shortcuts, you're just going to get this up and going overnight and be making a bunch of money, Amazon FBA is not for you. You need to come into this business with the mentality that, hey, you're building a business. This is not a hobby. This is going to take some time. And if you have the long, basically game in mind, then this is going to be really, really good for you. So the changes in my eyes have been good. The next thing is, another question is, have some old sellers lost business and quit due to COVID? That I know of, I haven't seen anyone lose their Amazon business. Now, brick and mortars and food businesses, absolutely. There's been a lot of people that have gone under because of coronavirus. On the other hand, Amazon sellers, I've seen it spike my sales. I mean, my sales are really, really good. I mean, I'm doing over 6 figures per month. And before I was doing between 50 to 75. So I had almost, I doubled my sales because of this coronavirus pandemic. So that's not putting me out of business, that's giving me more business. Another issue that I faced with on my second account is I wasn't predicting this huge spike and I ran out of stock, and I was out of stock for an entire month on my second seller account. And just a few days ago, I finally got back into stock and now sales are booming again. So I've had ups and downs because I wasn't projecting my sales to be so good. So I had stock issues, which is a good thing to have. Although best case scenario is to have a bunch of stock and to not run out of stock, but it's not putting me out of business. So that's those are kind of my thoughts there. Let's see. Another question is, how does your course relate to the new rules? If there are any, Amazon game is always changing. So that is a really, really good question. And to kind of answer that, I'm updating my course constantly. I'm active with my students in the DMs, basically doing one-on-one coaching. So if something does change, if they get stuck with something, I'm there helping them. And the biggest difference is I'm an actual seller. So I know the problems that they're facing with because I'm facing them with myself. And a lot of course creators aren't even actually selling themselves. So how can you learn the ropes and the new changes if they are not an Amazon seller? So that is a huge difference with my course. And another thing is I'm constantly updating it. I'm adding videos. So if we jump over here to my course right here, you'll see creating listing error code 5665. So this is a new change that Amazon has made. What did I do? I went out and I made a video. I updated it in my course so my students get the most up-to-date information. So that's the biggest difference with my course is, number one, I'm a current Amazon seller, so I know the problems people are facing with. Number two, I'm active with my students. I don't just ghost them. I'm constantly engaging and answering their questions, whether it's in the DMs or on my private student group, or I'm updating the course videos to make sure that they have the most up-to-date information. So all of that is right there. Another huge difference is I actually say what I'm going to, when I say something, I'm going to actually do what I say. So when you see people say, oh, this mentorship, I'm going to help you every step of the way and all of this, and they have 20,000 students, the reality is they can't do full mentorship if they have 20,000 students. So what I do is my full mentorship, I have 5 spots open every single month. And for the spots of July, but by the time I post this video, it will probably not be available. But I only take on a certain number of students for that full mentorship, because if I just took on unlimited students, I wouldn't be able to fulfill what I promise. So those are some of the key differences with my course versus someone else's. Also the price, I mean, is a lot cheaper compared to others. I mean, you'll see right here, it says enrolled in the course for $2,700 and was really disappointed and found a bit holy, and enrolled in Trevin's course for less than $500, and I'm happy that I did. It's slick, it's organized, it's structured. I honestly feel so clear on what to do now from the start to finish. Plus it's filled with golden nuggets everywhere. So what I've seen from my students, they've paid a lot more, and for the price of mine, they're getting a lot bigger bang for the buck. Plus they're actually getting my help from a current FBA seller. So not to try to sell you super hard on my course, but at the same time, in my eyes, I think it's way, way, way better than everyone else's, and that is kind of the difference with my course versus other courses. So there's that answer to that question. Right here, what do we need to know now about Amazon post-COVID-19 as new sellers? I talked about the inventory index score. I talked about the error code, and those are all things that I cover in my course if you're interested, to kind of guide you through the process. But now that I look at it, those are all the answers to all the questions on this YouTube comment. I really appreciate you, Lucy, dropping this comment. I hope that clears the air about the questions that you had, the concerns. And I just want to end by saying, look, Amazon is changing constantly. If you can't adapt, if you aren't willing to change, then selling on Amazon is not for you. I will be very blunt about it. And I tell people very bluntly, hey, this is not how it is. This is how it is. And I've just been trying to be as transparent, genuine, and just brutally honest as possible, because I don't want someone to start an Amazon business thinking that it's something that's going to be super easy. So if you think it's going to be super easy, don't start an Amazon business, don't buy my course. But if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to hustle, and you're willing to make a change and an impact in your life, and you want that, then Amazon FBA is by far the best business model out there to get up and going. You just need to understand you're building a business. It's not just some hobby, it's a business. So I hope that this clears the air a little bit about some of the changes with the error code, with the IPI index score. Nothing to be concerned about. Post coronavirus, my thoughts, the demand is better than ever. So if you guys want to start, now is the time to take action. Don't wait around. The longer you wait, the more difficult it's going to be to start. And when I say more difficult, that's not to scare you away or to basically make you start right now. It's just to give you kind of a reality check that, look, the opportunity is there. You just need to take it and grab it and run with it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, like the video, drop a comment. I appreciate all the support. I'll drop the link to my course down below. I look forward to having you in as a student. And if you guys don't, that's completely fine. Take advantage of this free content. I have a bunch of free resources and guides as well. So check those out in the description down below, and we will see you guys soon.